Hello and welcome back to this video, and today we are going to see how to use the punyo, or sometimes we know this as butting techniques. In this case, normally you want to see something like this, whether it is from this side or from this angle. The idea behind this is to use again punyo, which is this portion of the stick, normally against the other person's hand. Why? Because there's a term in Filipino martial arts that is translated or loosely translated as defanging the snake. That means that you want to take the fangs of the snake, and imagine that the snake is a hen, and then you want to hit and get rid of the fangs of the snake so you can then attack whatever you want, right? So the snake is no longer as threatening, right? But there's a little problem with this, is because first you have to be able to hook the hen efficiently. Why? Because if I just go like this and they pull back, it's going to be difficult for me to actually grab. So therefore, if I try to do the same thing, I have nothing. I'm hitting the air. Plus the person can hit me right away. So if I go like this, the person can hit me. So the first thing is, again, learning how to hook, which I have a different video, so you can see right on the top of this video, and we can link to that video. And the idea behind this is to be able to hook it. Once you do, everything else is much easier, because you can again use the punyo on this side, or you can actually cross towards the other side. However, sometimes you're going to be able to cross towards the other side because you're doing a transition by striking after the block, striking, and then you extend towards the other side. But I find these a little bit challenging to pull off when I'm going to full speed, because if I release these, the person is going to move these towards the other side. It's going to be very, very difficult. So in which case it's going to go from this side? Well, you can do it particularly when you are here, or if you have managed to go blocking and twist towards the other side and strike from these angles. I'm going to repeat that again. Off of the block and counter of this side, trapping, 3 fingers and 2 fingers, twisters the other side, and I'm already in the same position that I was before, and I'm actually using the punyo from my cerrada position rather than from my open or abierta position. So again, we have 2 positions. The hand is countering from that side, the stick is pointing towards, in this case, their left, and I can hook from the beginning and attack from my abierta. Or, as I said before, if I'm from cerrada, I can flip it towards the other side. The stick ends up in the same position, and I strike from cerrada. Now, obviously, since I've introduced that idea of being able to attack and switch from one side to the other one, you can do pretty much the same thing from this angle. I can go here, open, and I can still use the punyo. There's always this idea of your favorite position is going to be the one in which you can control at the end, the stick and the hand. So if you put your palm facing downwards, it's going to be much, much easier to control, because the person, even if the person pulls, you can still retain the weapon much, much easier. But if my palm is facing up, the person can flip it, and I'm going to have a hard time of retaining the same level of leverage, right? But if you do it quickly, you can still do the same hook, flip it, and attack right away. However, you have to be very careful when the person is pulling, that you might not end up hitting your own hand when you do that. So again, hooking, twisting, and striking at the very end. Now you have to take into account that when you do, you want to be able to bring the hand closer to the punyo, and bringing the punyo closer to the hand. You want to kind of like smack them in the middle. So as you do, you want to create the double motion in opposite directions, right? So what can you do from this side? The only thing that we haven't seen from cerrada is that once you're here, you can attack also from cerrada without having to move towards the other side, which is actually the most simple form of punyo batting techniques against the hand from this angle. In this case, I hook the same way that I was hooking before, 3 fingers and 2 fingers, dedicated to the palm and the stick. Always try to maximize that idea of grabbing the stick in the hand, and not only the stick, because when you trap the stick, the person can still maneuver, and obviously not the hand, because the person can just pull right away, and it's going to be more difficult for you to continue the grab or the grip of the other person's hand. So once you're here, again, stick in hand and try to pull it against you, and then you're going to pull it against yourself and striking in the opposite direction. One more time, here, and then striking as hard as you can. As you can see, this is the use of the punyo specifically, and that's why it's called batting techniques, towards the hand of the person. But you can use the punyo in many other ways. You can use the punyo towards the face. But I think that for this video, for the purposes of this video, is better to focus on just the attack of the hands. I'm gonna leave you just with one other different idea, which is we have actually just basically trap and strike, but sometimes you don't even have to. In this case, depending on how agile you are and depending how useful, accustomed you are to powering with your hand, you can manage to do this thing, this checking on the outside. Now, as you can see, this is only possible if I'm close enough to move my head out of the way. Now, why? Because in this case, I can use the button already directly. The person comes straight and I'm coming back straight towards the hand. So that's actually a little bit easier and it doesn't require any trapping at all. But again, keep in mind, as I said before, it requires you to be mindful of how to parry and how to move your head out of the way and thus freeing your hand so you can attack the punyo. Regardless of what you do, every single variation that I've shown you, this, or this towards the other side and attacking, or the one that I just did, after you attack the hand is probably going to retreat and immediately you can do a follow-up with a strike on to the head, or after you do this to the arm, whatever you want to do it. So keep in mind that this is just an entry. It's not a way for you to attack the hand, but that doesn't end there. You should be able to follow up with a strike. But again, I thought that in the beginning, so this is so difficult that I thought that it would be good to have a standalone video in which I can explain how to strike the hand. So again, these are kind of like an introduction to how to use your button or your punyo against the other person's hand. I hope you liked the video. Please watch and if you can, subscribe. Thank you so much and I see you in the next one. Ush.